good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and a huge welcome to today's Postgrad Insights session. Today's session is an accommodation special brought to you by Fresh, our accommodation partners. A reminder that today's session is a live session. If you are watching on demand, please send your questions through to gareth@postgradsolutions.com. Alternatively, if you are watching on one of our social media channels today, please use the messenger facility at the top of your screen, depending on what you're watching. If anyone has any questions, we will reach out to you afterwards. Everyone at Fresh has your details. So if you've got any questions, be sure to reach out to them once they reach out to you. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Rob, who's going to be taking you through all things Fresh, about the Be Wellbeing programme, about the properties they've got available. He's based in Kingston upon Thames, near London, and he'll be taking you through the next 10 to 15 minutes before Ashley, who's based in Paisley. Rob, over to you.
Thank you very much, Gareth. Much appreciated. So I'm going to tell you all a little bit about what it's like living with Fresh. Now, Fresh is a great company to work for. It's a great student accommodation provider. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about, how the rooms work and all the rest of it. I've been with Fresh for probably about 2 years now, and they really are, one of the top providers in the UK. So I'll talk a little bit about the rooms and the spaces we have available for students, but for now, I was going to tell you a little about the kind of awards we've won over the past few years. We've won maybe 30 plus awards over recent years, and we've got the Global Student Living Index is a really, really good indicator of where we are, and we've just recently won last year the Health and Wellbeing Initiative Awards. So this is a real big thing because I guess with Fresh, okay, we've got great facilities, the accommodation is great and what have you, but the people side is so important, and the health and well-being side. So I guess when Ashley talks to you a bit later about the well-being side, you know what I mean. But it's more for us than just getting students into the buildings and providing great facilities. It's about looking after. And as our Jane Crouch, our COO, has mentioned here, it's our mission to make students feel like they belong. So this is our kind of number one priority, really. Stats wise, again, this is a crazy stat. 95% of our residents love living with us and Fresh and would recommend us to a friend, which is an amazing result. I mean, it really, really is. So from our point of view, we're looking to, really improve on this year on year. So the Global Student Living Index is comprised of 2 surveys throughout the year, and there's minimum participation levels, so you get a really good feel for it. And this stat here, 74% of our residents feel like the residence team really care about their well-being. It's not just a case of people coming into the building and we give you a key and we show you the room. We really try to look after the students throughout the year and make sure they've got all the right support. As you can see here, throughout the UK, we've got around 55 properties at the moment. So you're going to find wherever you are in the UK, there's going to be a student accommodation building, hopefully close to. We've got 3 sites alone here in Kingston upon Thames. So it's a really, really good spread. All the big university towns will generally have a Fresh student accommodation property. In terms of the rooms now, the rooms there's such a wide, really good variety of rooms available. And we have all studios where I manage here at the moment. It's all self-contained studios, but there are some in other buildings which have studios plus, maybe shared kitchen with 6 or 7 residents. And I guess it's kind of really up to the individual how they want to tailor their experience with us, because there's so many different options. The rooms themselves really make the best use of space. They've got excellent storage facilities. They're super clean and well presented. So we really pride ourselves on, when new students come to live with us, having really top-notch, facilities in terms of accommodation. And really is something for everybody. So I would recommend, if you are thinking about staying, to really do your research on the individual websites and look to sort of find what room is best for your needs. So going back again to, the facilities we have in terms of the social events and what have you. Study spaces, we have a whole, really good range of sort of, specific study spaces. You can have individual study pods in many properties. So, I mean, if you want to sort of go away and get out of your room and study in a private area, there's all kinds of opportunities to do that. Um, and we really do encourage that. And some of the pods are great, you know. Facilities wise, in some of the buildings, you can have such a wide range. I mean, the social spaces have everything from gyms to, you know, dance studios to, you know, pods to make a podcast, etc. So, I mean, you name it. I mean, depending on what building, you can have an amazing array of, you know, opportunities and social spaces to. You can bring friends around as well. I mean, it's not just a case of this space is for you. You're more than welcome to bring people over and, you know, study in the sort of comfort of our places and what have you. I mean, the student feedback we've had from this, we do listen to our students when we're looking to improve a social area or a study area. We'll really sit down with the students and kind of get a good feel for, you know, what would they like, you know, maybe run some focus groups and really get a feel for, you know, what would they like in that building, what would they like to see, and then we can put that into practice. Many of our buildings have like cinema rooms and what have you, and sort of the ability to play sort of like PlayStation games, all kinds of things. So it's a real like one-stop shop, you know, for everything you need. In terms of the properties themselves, it's a real safe environment. We're going to have, you know, many of our buildings have 24-hour security. The ones that don't have constant security sort of call out presence as well. So you're going to feel secure all the time in our buildings. Wi-Fi, super fast Wi-Fi throughout. That's obviously a given in today's world, and you're going to be able to, you know, have social events, quiet study areas, and a really friendly residents team. So if I was to sort of specify one thing that really sets us apart from maybe our competitors or other providers, it is really on the people side. And I think I'm going to pass over to my colleague in a minute, Ashley, who's going to talk to you about the well-being side. But really, this is our thing we're probably most proud of. That's great. I'm just going to pass over to Ashley now. Thank you, Gareth.
Hello, everyone. My name's Ashley. I am the general manager here at MyPad in Paisley. So we're situated about 20 minutes outside of Glasgow driving, but you can jump in on the train in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to be talking to you about our Be Wellbeing programme. It is something we are so proud of here at Fresh. It's actually award winning. At the end of last year, we won Health and Wellbeing Initiative for Property Week, and this is something at all sites, all site teams, from housekeeping to maintenance to managers to resident advisors. We love getting involved in this. It's designed to be inclusive of everybody. And we want to promote the engagement between the residents, between themselves, and their engagement with us throughout their time here. It really helps residents feel connected. It helps them get out in their community. And it makes them feel welcome as well, especially when you've come from halfway around the world or maybe just from the next city along. It's all about feeling welcome when you get to your home from home, which is how we want people to see our buildings. It also helps us integrate resources as well, making sure that should students need support with their mental well-being or their physical well-being, that we can provide links, resources, and signposts to other services should we feel like, should the student or resident feel that that's what they need. So as you can see on this screen here, you can see that the programme is built up of 4 key pillars. These components are used by the site to create their yearly calendar, so we'll see that shortly, but we use this to work in line with that and to work in line with the demographic of our residents, because not one building's the same, and you can find in other buildings there's a higher demographic, and that's why we like to focus more on our site specifically. So your first one you've got is Be Active. So this is focusing on the physical side of our residents' well-being. We are creating events that encourages them to get out, get active, and stay healthy, and give them tips and tricks on things that they can do. The next one along, we've got Be Social. So we provide and create opportunities at site for our residents to get to know their flatmates, maybe meet people in other parts of the building. And it's really vital as well, like, for them to create that sense of community. You know, we do regular gatherings in person For example, we have our welcome pizza party at the start of a term where everyone can come and get as much free pizza as they like, and they can make lots of new friends, and we find that so valuable at site. We do craft events, we do movie nights, so there's always going to be something for everyone. We've then got down onto the next slide here, we've got Be Connected. So this is about the residents being connected to the site team, and vice versa. It's really important that there is an open door policy, where they feel they can come and speak to us if they need support or they're not quite sure of something. You know, living on your own if it's for the first time can be quite daunting. So we at site, we do regular tea with the team. So we pop the kettle on, we open the good biscuits, and you can just come and have a chat with myself or my resident advisor. You know, we can maybe give some advice, like if you're asking where's good to go or things like that. So and also within the Be Connected, we work with a lot of local charities as well. So that just creates a nice little link for the residents, feeling like they live as part of the community that they're in. And our final one is Be Supported. So it's ensuring that we're providing links and resources, you know, maybe blogs or information to support our residents with their mental health. Making sure they know that they can come to us with a problem before it becomes overwhelming. You know, we can have a chat if that's all they need, or you know, we can signpost them to professional services. And this is really a crucial part of the programme. You know, we know how it can be a struggle for some, and not just our international students, but anybody that comes to stay with us. And when you're out on your own, it can sometimes feel lonely. So we just don't want anybody to feel like that. We want them to feel like they can come and be part of something. So if we just pop to the next slide, Gareth. Thank you. So as you can see here, can we go back? Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. So what you've got, or what you had on our last slide, was an example of our calendar. It's our B calendar. So site teams use this to create their own events. And residents can get involved in as much or as little as they want. For example, if your interest is more fitness, you might want to engage more with our Fresh Steps section, or and throughout our region, we do loads of different things. We do like step competitions. Some sites make scavenger hunts. We're very lucky in Paisley that a local charity do regular trails around the town. So at Halloween they do the Witches Trail, and you can go and get out and see different parts of the town, which is really, really nice. If crafting's your thing, you might be more into the pumpkin carving at Halloween or wreath making at Christmas. And it's a really good way, if that's what you're into, it's a good way to meet like-minded people. And we find that a lot of our residents, by doing things like that, they make friends with people that they share a really good common interest with. Our site teams are honestly fantastic, and they're excellent at creating unique events as well. They like to think out the box and do something really different, and it just means that there is something for everybody. So when it comes to we obviously have such a multicultural, diverse set of residents in every building, and we want to celebrate that and make that part of our social events. Demographics, my apologies, can change any given year, and it's important that we're aware of this and we see the change. For example, once everyone was settled at my site by the end of September, I popped out just a wee quick multiple choice survey about holidays and occasion days that were important to them, and it left them a little opportunity to add anything they felt we had missed. And this was really, really helpful for us, and it actually did show that our demographic had changed at site dramatically. And it just means that all cultures, they've got their thing and the thing they're proud of, and we actually learn a lot from them too when we do these. So it's actually really interesting for us too. So you know, we celebrate things like Lunar New Year, which is coming up, Thanksgiving, and we did a huge Diwali party this year, and it was excellent. Students taught us how to do rangoli and traditional dancing, and everybody had a great night, and it was fantastic for both the site team and for the residents. So if you just want to pop to the next one for me, Gareth. So this kind of leads us on to the other option within our portfolio at Fresh, which is called Build to Rent. It's something that really sets Fresh apart from other industry competitors. Within certain parts of the UK, so you can see here, Cardiff, Exeter and Croydon, it's the option where you can rent an apartment within a very similar setup to student accommodation. So you can be renting an apartment with others, and you've got communal spaces, shared kitchens, but there are still the added, community engaging events, social events. This can be suitable for families, those perhaps who have more transient working contracts, which is quite popular now. You might be based somewhere for a year and then off somewhere else for a year. So that can really be helpful. It's also designed perhaps for people who've maybe spent their full education lifespan in student accommodation, and they might not feel ready to go into private renting, or they might not be financially ready to go onto the property ladder or to privately rent. So it's just that kind of nice little stepping stone, just where you've got that little bit more security and support. So if we just want to pop to the next slide, so I've said we've got Cardiff, Exeter and Croydon, and our sites are number 27 College Road, which actually is offering 20%, the rent is 20% cheaper than those of similar accommodations in the area. So you are getting that little bit of a saving. And you've also got the George, which is actually an all-inclusive rent, so your water, your electric and your Wi-Fi is included, which in this current climate is completely ideal. And we've also got the Verve in Cardiff. If you just want to pop to the next one for me. So like I said, these sites come as that little stepping stone, and as much as it's not the B program, it's still about the belonging, and you've still got that at these sites. You maybe might make new friends. It will help you engage with your community where you're living, and it really still is this exact same ethos we have at our student accommodations. It's just maybe suitable if you've got other needs as well.
Ashley, thank you. Obviously, great presentation. It's great to hear different side of things to put that into perspective. If anyone missed the start of the presentation, Rob is based in Kingston upon Thames, southwest London way, and Ashley's based in Paisley, which is near Glasgow. So in terms of the students that come to the universities, come to the properties, there's going to be different cultures no matter where you are. Ashley, can I come to you first, because I think being based near Glasgow, obviously a very popular city in terms of studying, there's going to be a lot of people going, right, I'm from Glasgow, I'm going to Glasgow Uni, I'm going to West Scotland. Does it matter what university they're studying at, and therefore can they come and live at one of your properties?
Yep. So we are open to, as long as you are a student, you can stay at one of our properties. Yeah.
Excellent. And in terms of that culture and the diversity, your presentation mentioned it earlier about the different cultures that you study, that you celebrate and that come to study with you. How does that create a good atmosphere in terms of the types of people that are going to come in? Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's coming from far away, potentially. Does that create quite a tight-knit community?
Yeah, so everybody's natural reaction is stick to what you know, and stick with what's comfortable. But the positive to these events is that's not your only option. If that is what you wanted to do, then that's absolutely fine. But this opens you up to maybe different people that you would never have considered meeting before, that you maybe thought you wouldn't have anything in common with. And we see that a lot, and it's really nice when you see them come downstairs and they're all going off for a night out, and I'm like, you might never have met if you hadn't come to that pizza party 2 weeks ago or anything like that. So yeah, it is nice to see.
And just talking a bit of the blueprint behind it, the affordability of living in, let's say Paisley, where you are, can be a lot more affordable than living in, the likes of Edinburgh or Glasgow, which are major cities. Is that a big USP for you guys, that the property that you're in or manage is based just outside of Glasgow, therefore just makes everything that little bit easier?
Yeah, of course, and nobody can deny, you only have to look at our websites to know that there is a price difference.
Yeah.
And that is because, like, you're not in the direct hub of Glasgow, but like I say, we're less than a minute and a half walk to the train station, where you can get 6 different trains an hour 10 minutes into the city centre, and there you've got it on your doorstep, but you're not necessarily having to pay the higher price for living in the city.
Absolutely. Rob, can I bring you in at this point? Just kind of keeping on that same theme, really, about where, especially being Southwest London, you're on the outskirts of London, really. You're in Greater London. So, students presumably study at loads of different universities and commute from where your property is.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously Kingston University is our most local, but we do have lots of people who travel directly into London each day. It's only 25 minutes into Waterloo from where we are. And then obviously people can go off to various other universities as well. And I think people like maybe the option of a bit more kind of being outside of the centre of London sometimes, and having the option to travel in for social events, for obviously London nightlife. But because where we are, we're on the River Thames. It's a great historic sort of area, and I think it's really interesting because, like I say, you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the kind of the nice part of kind of Surrey and the suburbs, and also you've got London on your doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's important to point out that people will hear Kingston and think, I'm not going to Kingston Uni, so therefore I can't live there. Like you said, it's only 25 minutes to Waterloo. But also, you've got St Mary's Twickenham, you've got Roehampton, you've got 2 major universities not really far away. So from that perspective, students do, especially if you're coming to London, need to kind of think outside the box rather than thinking that I'm studying, let's say, at Twickenham, or I'm studying at Middlesex or West London. You can study wherever you want and live in Kingston. So very
100%,
simple.
yeah.
From a budgeting perspective, then, what is the payment plan required? So students are interested. They're currently studying their undergrad degree. They're coming into their graduate studies next year. They're coming to the UK. What are the next steps? What do students need to do? Is there a holding deposit? Do they need guarantors and stuff like that? What's the next steps for them?
Sure. So basically, in terms of securing a room, a deposit is always required. All it's required, and that's £150 for us. I mean, it may vary in slightly other properties, but £150 is, a relatively small amount which secures you that room. And then going forward, I mean, we have payment plans where people can pay in 4 installments throughout the year, and also there's an option for a full payment option up front, which some people prefer. So there's really like the 4 installment option is, I guess, what most people go for, and those are kind of spread throughout the year. And obviously, when we come to give people lease agreements and what have you, it's all detailed on there. We're very upfront and transparent about all of our charges. I think the worst thing in these situations is charges that you're not expecting or maybe unplanned for. So there's no hidden costs. We're very, honest and transparent about all of our finance related issues.
Yeah, and from just thinking in terms of students and what they can expect, we're seeing a bit of a shift towards more mature students and potentially more students with families. Do you accommodate for that? Do your properties accommodate families, and therefore, can partners come in and live?
Absolutely. I mean, and we have a situation where every tenant is allowed, a permanent guest. So very often you'll have like couples, you'll have friends living together and what have you. So it really is up to the individual, if they want to come in and share their sort of studio apartment with someone else, they're more than welcome to. And we definitely encourage that. And those guests of the tenants are treated exactly the same as a tenant. They're given all the same, options and facilities, and we treat them the same as everyone else. And I think it's, again, going back to the people side, which Ashley has mentioned, and it's all about looking after our residents. It really is. That's what we live and breathe.
And Ashley, if I can come to you on this one, there will be students that I've mentioned already from different cultures. Naturally, anxiety will kick in, and they come a long way. Maybe their English isn't great, and it's great that there's that personal element that you guys are in the properties and you're there to help. But if you are anxious, you're shy, Is there a portal that they can log into? Is there anywhere online where they could perhaps put in a request and, you know, you can be on hand almost, you know, within 10, 15 minutes if needs be?
Yeah, so obviously every student, excuse me, would have our site email address and they can always pop something to that. But we have our site phone, which if I'm during the day, myself or my resident advisor would have, and of an evening our security would have. And that gets used quite a lot. So for example, we did have somebody, they'd managed to lock themselves in their room and we were able to get to them within 5 minutes to get them out, and they made their shift for work. We also have people use it to reach out if they're struggling. So you know, if they just feel they need someone to talk to, but it's not, you know, they don't feel it, they can come down and speak to us. Just a wee hi, how are you doing? Is everything all right? And they can prefer to do that. We also, through our site phone, connect them with their shared kitchens, so they can kind of sort out their kitchen rotas and cleaning and all that. But it's also, they've instantly got a connection with someone really close by. So we want to open that up as much as possible. And we do love it when they come down and have a wee chat with us.
And just one final question as well, in terms of the structure of when students can stay. So obviously you've got the Christmas holidays, the Easter holidays, summer holidays as well. There'll be many students that will want to come and arrive earlier, or perhaps stay over Christmas. Is that an option? You know, they've got those properties for a sustained period of time. Is it done on blocks and weeks, or is it done over, you know, you're here from A to B and whenever you want to stay, you
So
can?
again, I would say that varies site to site. Some sites offer what we call semester lets, which is, you know, you can come from the kind of September to the Christmas, and then you would move out and somebody else would take the tenancy. But again, for my site's perspective, we do 44-week leases and 51-week leases, which is, they both start in September, but one of them ends in the July and one of them ends in the August. But obviously, if you were to take the 44 and need to stay over the summer, we can accommodate a summer extension. So there's no panic that you're not going to have somewhere to go or somewhere to stay. And again, those on 51 weeks, they always get the option to rebook before it goes live to the public. So you know, we look after the ones that are here, and you know, we want them to stay as well. When they go home for Christmas or they go home for Easter, they just let us know that they're going to be away for longer than 7 days, and we just make sure that everything's flushed in their room and everything's all right for them coming back.
So, and there's just two more questions on the Q&A that I just want to run past. You know, we were talking about religion, and I'm guessing the questions around cultures and how you guys accommodate. I think we've kind of covered that already in the presentation. And also, are there any provisions for accommodation around Bedfordshire and Milton Keynes area? I presume, Rob, considering the location that's closer to you, you're going to refer them to the website and say, have a little look to see where our properties are dotted all around the country.
That's correct, yeah.
Where would students go to apply? Do they have to come directly to you? Do you work in partnership with universities?
So they would initially want to go to the thisisfresh.com website. They would pop in the kind of area they're looking for, and it would provide them suitable options. They can then go through to that specific site's own page, it's linked, and they can start the application process. But again, if you want to pick up the phone or send an email to that site, the site numbers and emails are there, so you can reach out to us directly if, you know, you just want to get things started, or you need a bit of a helping hand, or you've got any questions.
Super job. Rob, Ashley, thank you very much. Great session. Thank you for answering my questions. And if anyone's got any concerns or issues or questions surrounding anything what we've discussed, I'm sure Rob or Ashley will be in touch over the coming days. But for now, we look forward to seeing you for the next webinar. The next accommodation special is going to be brought to you in April. It might be fresh, it might be someone else, but we'll catch up nearer the time. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.